Hi there. I'm Charlie Gilbert, and I'm the Executive Director of Musical Lab, a nonprofit organization that supports musical theater creators here in Philadelphia. On Monday, June 26th, Musical Lab will present a showcase featuring work by 7 writing teams from Philly. Over the past few days, I've spoken on Zoom with each of our writing teams about their shows, and in this video, I'll share one of those conversations with you. If you love musical theater, you'll want to join us at the Proscenium Theater at the Drake in Center City, Philadelphia on Monday, June 26th at 7 p.m. to check out the amazing work being created by these writers. I also encourage you to support Musical Lab by clicking on the link in the comments and donating to our GoFundMe campaign. Thanks for your support. All right, here's the video. I am talking with Jay Purdy. Jay is the creator of Ribbons of War, which is one of the 7 musicals that we're doing in the Musical Lab new musical showcase. Let's talk about your musical Ribbons of War. What's it about?
The premise is, imagine a clipper ship captain meets an ace pilot and they fall in love. Like, what does that do to their individual worlds? How do they incorporate such individual cultures into each other? How does that affect the people around them? And so you have, at the heart of it, you've got the captain, just a brave, daring, leader of a small ship. And then you have Annalise, who is this, smart, lonely on a small island, pilot that, is very crafty, engineer type. And it kind of puts them at odds with each other in ways they can't necessarily predict, because love brings them together, but after kind of a hasty marriage, they're forced to deal with the fallout of it not necessarily working out. And that's the best I can do right now without giving away the ending.
A lot of musicals I know are adapted from a play or a movie or an existing title, but this is an original story. Is that right?
It is an original story. Yep.
Where did it come from in your imagination? Do you know?
The whole musical came from one song, and there's a song at the very end of the musical that kind of sums up all of the events that happened during the musical. And this was a standalone song. It kind of vaguely referenced this relationship gone awry that ends in this fiery battle. And as a songwriter, I was just kind of wanting to know more about these vague characters. So then I wrote the first song of the musical to give a little more context to who the captain would be. And then it only seemed fair to write another song from Annalise's perspective to give her a little more clarity. And then, before I knew it, the story started to unfold in my imagination. And as the songs progressed, I realized that I was effectively writing a musical. And luckily my bandmates at the time were totally into it, and we were able to, our goal was to bring kind of a theater element to the music space, because we were playing rock and roll shows, from coast to coast and sometimes to Europe. So we were just kind of wanted to bring costuming and vignettes into a space that you don't normally get to see those things. And so that's where Ribbons of War came from.
Were musicals like an important thing for you when you were younger, when you were listening, or when you were kind of developing your tastes?
I grew up, on the Disney musical train. So I always kind of thought of Ribbons of War as kind of like almost a Disney-esque musical that steps out of that lane a little bit and and kind of touches on a heavier subject matter at times. I always responded to a lot of the more storytelling aspects of country or folk music, where you get to tell a full story Boy Named Sue by Johnny Cash comes to mind, or
Sure.
or of course Tommy. A lot of these like kind of, or Harry Nilsson's The Point. These are like kind of rock-based songwriters who are able to use that medium to tell a bigger story. And I always loved that aspect of songwriting, that you could just transport someone and introduce them to characters, and that you can enjoy that story over and over and over again. I love the economy of words in a musical,
Hmm.
because every word, you do your best not to waste a syllable when you're writing for a musical, because you want to push the story, or you want to build a world around a character as best you can in a finite amount of space and time.
Right. So my understanding is that you've performed Ribbons of War with your band. I've seen video of that, but this will be the first time when you've had this material performed by people other than yourself. Is that right?
Almost right. So so we did do a run for Ribbons of War. We basically did a traveling musical. So we had every bit of set piece, every costume, every lighting element, everything fit into our tour van, and the full cast
Mm.
and producer and everything, and the band. And we would set up in different spaces, as far north as Boston, as far south as maybe Charlottesville, Virginia, I think. And after we did our run, some fans of the band who were in high school chose that as their high school play, and so they recast and they put together this whole production. And there was one other regional theater that also took a stab at it, and they did great. But that this was all based on a musical that we had written in a very short amount of time. And I've always felt like there was much room to expand character arcs, to give certain characters more depth. And for that reason, linking up with Musical Lab, getting a chance to revisit this material and see how these new singers can bring it to life in kind of a new light is just like so exciting. This is the original Ribbons of War book that we made, and we made thousands of these by hand. And these are hardcover, so we'd spend a day cutting masonite wood just for our covers, and then these little doodads, like that's the album content, and then also getting a chance to do, I was able to do illustrations for each page
Wow.
with the
Yes.
facing lyrics. And this was going to be like, this is Ribbons of War. It's a book, it's a record with the CD in the back,
Right.
and that's it. But then, friends of mine who were in the theater world said, hey, we should maybe try to turn this into a musical. And that was a dream of mine. And, it's been a pet project for quite some time.
Right. Well, you're clearly a man with a lot of creativity and a lot of energy. I'm really excited to be able to share a taste of this on the program that we're doing in June. It's great to talk to you. Thanks very much, Jay.
Great. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you on the 26th.
Okay.